full disclosure, I think Steven Spielberg might actually be having aliens write his movies for him. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isaac Joel, and you are listening to The Critics. And today we're going to be breaking down Steven Spielberg's latest film, Disclosure Day, with Universal Pictures. First off, I want to give a major shout out to Universal and Movies More Fun for inviting me to come check out an early screening of this film. Thank you so much for the care package that you guys sent me as well. I love it. I love the hat, love the bag, love everything. I am a massive Steven Spielberg fan, and so I got my my director vest on right now. I forgot to put the glasses on. I didn't want there to be a glare on camera, but I'm so excited for this movie to be the one that I'm back talking about. In case you guys didn't know, I was recently in a car accident a couple of weeks ago, over a month ago at this point, honestly. It's been a while. I haven't been posting on here for a while, and I do apologize to you guys. I really do. I know sometimes I fall off the face of the earth and it's like, what the heck happened? And you know, I got into a really bad car accident. I'm dealing with it right now. I went a really long time without having a vehicle. I finally have one now, and so I'm able to finally attend these screenings again. I was still going before. I was able to find rides and stuff, and I've been keeping up to date with all the movies, so I'm all caught up, you know, with Scary Movie, you know, Masters of the Universe, and everything in between. Power Ballad, Is God Is, I really thought was incredible. But I just really haven't had the time to jump on here, guys, to give you my full breakdown on movies. If you still follow me on X, you can still see all of my quick social media reactions on there, or you can follow me on Instagram and see all my reactions on there and kind of keep up to date with everything. But I promise you guys, I'm going to be coming back and doing more consistent reviews with you guys again. I miss doing this. I miss this platform. As always, this is where I feel like I'm at home. And once again, I'm just so excited that Disclosure Day is the film that I'm using to discuss back, because there's so much to unpack with this movie, and there's just so much depth and emotion going on with this one that I just can't help myself. This has been on my list for a really, really long time. If there's two directors that put out a trailer and you just have no idea what to expect, it's J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg. And these two have had the biggest trailers out right now because you have no idea what their movies are about. I mean, the trailers, you can watch them as many times as you want, but you're really going to get little to no information on what the story is, where the journey is, and where it's going to be taking you. And I find all of that stuff to be so intriguing because very, very, very few movies and directors these days are putting out films and projects where we know nothing about. That's what was so incredible about Obsession, because we knew nothing about that movie. Even from the trailers and the teasers, it was just like, you know what, I don't know what that's about, but I'm going to be watching that on day one. And Steven Spielberg is one of those directors that's just top of the list, that you're just immediately going to rush to the theater and check out whatever he's got going on with, you know, Christopher Nolan or Denis Villeneuve. You know, he's top dog. You know, I kind of think Spielberg as being the guy that literally invented cinema. I know that is such a stupid statement, and I'm going to get butchered in the comments for that. But, you know, for my generation and growing up, you know, a lot of his movies, you just watch them and you're like, did this guy literally invent movie making? Like, it feels like it's never been done until this guy kind of walked into frame and really kind of just changed the landscape and the bar on how movies should be delivered. And, you know, he's the big blockbuster guy. Everybody knows him from all of his big blockbuster movies. His summer blockbusters always make a lot of money. And here we have another one right here in front of us. And I kind of want to go down memory lane with you guys. The last three Steven Spielberg movies that he has released. 2022, he gave us The Fabelmans, the loosely based on a true story, you know, not, you know, his real name, but still his whole life in his childhood kind of brought into that movie. And it was a really wholesome film. I liked it. Didn't love it. Didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. But it went on to, I think, probably win a lot of awards and gain a lot of attention. And I thought it was done very tastefully. I loved it. West Side Story in 2021, the year right before that. And he had two movies back to back. West Side Story was probably the studio going like, all right, look, man, if you do this for us, we'll let you go and do the Fablemans. And that was kind of the deal that they struck a chord with. And I think it really worked out perfectly for them in this situation, because if you don't have West Side Story, if you don't have Fablemans, and vice versa. And I liked Spielberg's interpretation of West Side Story. I know a lot of people just thought it was literally a copy, and paste version of it. And there are so many things that you can do with that story and that tale. But I thought he brought in his vision, his eye with it, and that's what he does best with everything. And then right before that, in 2018, God, man, take me back to this time. Take me back to this era. Ready Player One. One of the biggest movies I have ever seen in theaters. It's probably one of my favorite movie going experiences of all time. Me and my friends still talk about it till this day. And it's just such a faithful adaptation of the book, and the characters and the story, the CGI, and all of the rights that they got to all those characters. Even till this day, still till this day, people talk about how the hell did they make that movie. Right before I went into the theater to check out Disclosure Day, I was asked by one of my other critic friends. We walked to the side, and he was like, man, what are your two top favorite Spielberg movies? And I was like, dude, I don't like playing this game. I'm not good at this game. Nobody's gonna like my answers. They're gonna just say that I'm not a real fan, that I don't know anything. I don't like my knowledge being tested, because like that's not what this isn't a game to me, man. This isn't like, who knows all the most Wikipedia facts to me. For me, it's a little bit more than that. It's emotions. It's connecting to the audience and everything like that. Not statistics, not box office numbers and all that. But I decided to play this game, and I was like, you know what, man? Hot take: two of my favorite Spielberg movies, Minority Report and War Worlds with Tom Cruise as well. I think those two together are just such a beautiful combination, and I wish till this day that they were still making movies, but a lot of weird stuff happened between them, and now they just don't. And on top of that, I was also kind of interested. Hang in there with me, folks. I swear to God, I'm going to talk about this movie. I was kind of interested in how many movies has Steven Spielberg done and touched upon regarding aliens and the existence of them. Well, not only has he done 1, 2, 3, 4, but now 5 movies about aliens. I feel like that's a little excessive at this point. Take that for whatever it is, whatever you want to interpret that as. But first we have, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Incredible film. Incredible. Masterpiece. I still revisit that every now and then. E.T., the Extraterrestrial. A lot of people really love that film. It's very wholesome. It's very family friendly. I liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't really a film that I grew up on. Hot take. War Worlds, we already kind of talked about this. I know it's not a Spielberg original. It is an interpretation of another interpretation of another interpretation. But I just thought he did it so well, and it hasn't been done well ever since. Number 4 on that list is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, I know some people are going to be like, no, that doesn't count. We don't count that at all. That wasn't Spielberg. That was George Lucas. Well, you know what? The man directed it. His name is all over it. I'm going to count it. Right? He directed it, right? Yes, he did direct it. He wasn't just a producer. I had to fact check that. He was actually the director of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I feel like that's very important. And last but not least, we have Disclosure Day. So it feels like the culmination of all this stuff building up to Disclosure Day. Like, what is the final verdict on Spielberg with Aliens? And I was getting a little bit more Signs vibes off of this than anything else. I do think it's a beautiful spiritual companion to Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. kind of meshed together a little bit. This movie is great. I think there are so many good things about this movie that I genuinely loved, that I was at the edge of my seat with. But then there were other things going on with this film. In particular, the ending and just how the movie ends just in general. And I'm going to touch on that without spoilers, because I still want you to go check this movie out. That just left me like, wait, that's it? That's it? You built up all of this just to end it with that. Oh man, we're gonna get more into that later, but I really want to talk about this cast because you don't have a great movie without a great cast. Emily Blunt, she's the main lead in this film. She plays a meteorologist at a news station, a weather woman, a weather person, and she's really good at her job. And she comes in one day after kind of having this freak mental breakdown after seeing a red cardinal bird fly into her kitchen, and now she's understanding other languages, she's speaking other languages, she's speaking other things that we just never heard of before in this world. And she goes on the news and has this mental breakdown in front of the entire nation, goes viral, and now she's on this journey to try and figure out what it all means. And that kind of leads her into our second main protagonist, Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor has been such a great actor these last couple of years, most notably Challengers, the most recent Knives Out movie that came out. I thought he was the best part of that movie. He's probably the best part of any movie that you go and see these days. And so he's really phenomenal in this. He plays that leading man so well. This movie kind of reminded me, and his character reminded me a lot of Victor Snowden. Snowden was the man that was kind of like a whistleblower and leaked all this information for the public. And his character kind of aligns a little bit into that. And I wish it was more going down that kind of conspiracy rabbit hole and whistleblowing genre rather than whatever the hell this is, because it's not necessarily even an alien movie, you know. Close Encounters of Their Kind and E.T. had way more, I think, alien activity going on in those films. And this one kind of saves it all for the very end, a la Signs. That's kind of where the comparison comes into this, where they show these fascinating and shocking footage, and they release it to everybody. The whole world is watching this, and you're really at the edge of your seat because it feels so surreal into what we've seen today. And that's why this subject also fascinates me a lot, because there's been a lot of evidence pointing to other life being out there. Now, whether you believe in aliens or not, that's a whole other conversation. I just appreciate how Spielberg kind of wanted to bring that into our world, really. This is an original story. This is an original script for him. The guy didn't really have his opportunity to go off and do Interstellar. So I feel like he's making up for a lot of things. He missed out on Interstellar. He didn't nail the landing with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Again, that's not his fault. That was totally Lucas, like, telling him what to do the entire time. But I felt like this movie had a lot to make up for and a lot of questions that needed to be answered. And so I went into this with complete open thoughts, and there's a lot of really cool sequences throughout. You have Coleman Domingo that kind of plays the guiding arch for both of these characters, leading them on their journey. And Colin Firth is the main protagonist that's kind of going after them and trying to conceal all of these secrets and doesn't want them to go out. And it doesn't even seem like he has a overarching evil plan, like, oh, I want to, take over their technology and go to war and do this and do that. There are other things going on in the background. It does seem like they are at the verge of World War III. I don't know if that has anything to do with the actual main story, but they use that as kind of like a pedestal of like, okay, the world is actually dealing with this right now. They're about to go to war with each other. We don't care. We've just discovered aliens, and everybody needs to know that trumps, everything else that's going on. And this is going to kind of just bring us all to our knees and shock and question our religion, our God, our existence in the universe. And that's a heavy toll. That really is. There's a character in the movie, Josh O'Connor's girlfriend, that kind of plays both sides, and she begs the question of like, okay, you're stealing all of these secrets and wanting to expose it to the world, and I understand that the company you work for is not a government company and they are evil and bad, but what if there was a reason behind holding these secrets back? She used to be a nun, and so she has kind of a stake in this. You know, if this were to get out and expose, she really feels that it will just crush all religions, all faiths, and the world would just never be the same ever again if it was hard facts. You know, no longer questionable, no longer maybe what if, you know, is that, you know, another aircraft, another government aircraft that's being tested. No, no, this is 100% hard proof. And when they're showing the footage and everything that they've been hiding from us, the film is kind of building up to this final act of it all being exposed, and it is jaw dropping, it is breathtaking, it is classic and spectacular Spielberg. This is exactly what he was born to do, and I can't believe this movie is happening right before my eyes. Oh my god, what are they saying? What's going to happen next? Wait, why is it cutting to black? Wait, why are the credits rolling? Is it over? What is this? The finale to The Sopranos? Oh my god, that's it? We're done? Oh my, Spielberg, you were just scratching the surface. Please go back. Did you guys not film a proper ending? Did they run out of footage? Did the reel accidentally crash? Please, no, it's over. Oh my god. Now I'm walking out of the theater and I don't know what I feel about this. I have no idea what's going on. Is that really the ending to the movie? Oh, okay. Look, I loved it. But what was that ending? Why was it so abrupt? Why did it just say, all right, we're done here. That's it. We did it. We did a disclosure day. It's disclosure day. You know, there's such a horrible moment. And these are moments that me and my friends just like, oh man, we beg for movies to do stupid shit like this when they use the title in the movie. And so there's a point where Emily Blunt's character, she's like, this is disclosure day. And it's just so cringy. And you're like, oh my God, did someone actually write that? Did an alien write that? I know a real writer didn't write that. Man, someone probably put that pen and paper during the writer's strike. Feels like there is not a real threat to the world, to the nation, to anybody. Are the aliens here for good purposes? Are they here for bad purposes? They clearly are here for good. It seems that way. They don't seem hostile at all. It seems like they're here maybe as angels to spread some kind of message from God. Some people interpret it that way. It's really just an open book. This is the Inception. Top is still rolling. What the fuck was that? Is the movie really over? Okay, then I'll just kind of keep questioning for the rest of my life. What was that movie really, really about? I'm probably going to have to watch like 5 to 10 video essays to really kind of get like everyone's general interpretation of that. And, you know, I don't really know if that's going to work for everybody. Maybe it will. Maybe by the time the credits roll, you're going to be telling yourself, thank God this movie is finally over, because that was boring. The action was boring. It was really dull. It felt like it wasn't really leading up to anything. I 100% see your complaints with this movie. And this is actually the first time in a long time where I'm kind of split here. I'm like really caught in the middle, because at one point it's Steven Spielberg. And everything that dude, for the most part, everything that dude touched just turns into gold. And I think this movie begs a lot of fascinating questions, but just refuses to kind of answer them at the end of the day. I'm so caught in the middle of it. There are a lot of moments between that I loved, and then there was some that just kind of felt completely flat to me. The action sequences were okay. Ultimately, I walked out of Disclosure Day disappointed. I thought this was going to be the ultimate Independence Day film for modern audiences, and I was hoping for that. There were a lot of interesting things I thought from the trailer that kind of begged me thinking that they were going to do an ultimate final act with alien spaceships and military aircrafts, but that just turned out to be found footage that they showed at the end of the movie and didn't really play into the narrative at all. I thought Emily Blunt and the cast were fantastic in this movie. It clearly wants to be a rival, but it just lacks that intellectual depth. It has all of the emotions, that Spielberg magic of emotions, but it just lacks that psychological depth that I think we were all looking for. And I really felt like this movie was just missing an extra 20 minutes at the end of the day. I'm going to rate Disclosure Day 6 out of 10. There are a lot of fascinating moments throughout this movie that raised a lot of great questions that ultimately went nowhere. The cast is really great. Emily Blunt shines in this, and Spielberg does what he does best, as always. And this looks like one of his most beautiful movies, but I just felt like it was lacking so much more. And I just walked out of the movie wanting to know more out of it. I heard some people around me talking about a Disclosure Day 2, and I was like, are you out of your mind? That'll never happen. Never, ever, ever. He's done with this. I guarantee you he's put all of it out on paper for us. We've seen everything that he has to interpret with this. And I think what he knows is far more than what we know as the public. I think he got some real information from some government officials, and he himself is the whistleblower in this case. I'm very interested to see what it is you guys think about Disclosure Day. Do you think this movie is absolutely phenomenal, or do you feel like it just lacks that special magic that pushes it a little bit further for you? I'm going to tell you guys, you have to check this out in the biggest format possible. It comes out on June 12th. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, I've been your host, Isaac Joel. I'll catch you next time.